I'm going to be making a tray today for these set of 3 candles that I've got. I've got this mould from Temu, and in the description it says that it could be either a tray or a plant stand, but we're going to use it as a tray today. And I've picked out this UvDtf sticker, and I've got some colours here. These are from the Resin range. These are the mica powders, and I've picked out some colours that match in with the colour of the Peacock. So I've got blue, dark blue, medium purple, spring green and copper. So let's just pop this to one side for a minute, and we're going to start just by adding some of these mica powders straight to the mould. So I've seen this technique used before by Petra Youngblood. I think she said in her video that Claire was where she saw it being done, but I can only go by who I've seen it. So just going to start by adding, that's the purple, let's pop some in the middle as well, and then next we're going to add some of the blue, pop some of that down in there, and then next we're going to use, let's do the green next, and just sprinkle some of that onto there, just random, not in any set places or anything. So let's just have a little bit more of that green, and then we're just going to finish off with a tiny bit of the gold, not gold, copper. So a little bit of that going down. Don't want this to overpower the other colours. Oops, that's a big blob. Right, we'll leave that there. The candles might cover that up. Right, let's just pop a fraction more in. Sprinkle some of that round. Right, that would do, I think. So let's just pop the lids on these before I knock any of these over. Right, so I've mixed up some of the Resin 1:1 epoxy resin, and I'm going to add to that some of the T Expert white pigment paste. So I'm just going to add that into there, and then get that mixed in. That's all nicely mixed in now, and then I'm just going to take some 99% alcohol and just give this a little spritz over the top. I think you need it wet but not like totally saturated, so I think that will probably do. And then I'm just going to pour the resin straight over the top. So I'm just going to fill this mould up completely. Hopefully I've made enough. I've not used this mould before. So the main part of the tray I'm going to do in resin, and then for the stand bit I'm going to do in magic pour. So I'm just going to scrape out, oopsie days, scrape out the last of that in my pot. There we go. So I think I could do with a little bit more resin mixed up, so I'll do that off camera because you don't really need to see me do that. And I'm just going to give this a quick spritz with some alcohol, pop those bubbles on the top, and then I'll see you back for the next bit. While I'm waiting for the resin to cure, I thought we'd make the stands. So I've mixed up some of the magic pour casting powder. This is measured 3:1 by weight. So for example, 300 powder to 100 of water. So that's all ready and mixed up, and I'm going to add to that some Buonite pigment in blue and some of the Homeware Designs pigment in Princely Purple. So just going to add Let's just add 1 drop of each into there to start with. Got a bubble there, let's get that out. Come on out, you come. There we go. And then I'm just going to mix that together just to get sort of a marbling effect going on. Let's add a bit more of the purple. No, I think that would do actually. Don't want it too much. And then I'm just going to pour that straight into these moulds. So let's put some in there to start with, and then some in this one. Oh, those colours are pretty together. I like those. And then just finish off that in there. I've mixed up way too much. Right, I need to find something for that little bit there. So I'll find something for that, and then I'll see you back for demold. These are all cured up now, and with the leftover eco, I made a little tray. So I thought I'd just finish that off just with a UvDtf sticker. So I'm just going to place that in the centre there. Pop that down there. Let's get a squidgy that down. So that's how that's looking with the sticker on. Beautiful. Put that to one side for a minute. Right, so let's get these out now. These are the stand for the tray. That's that one. Let's pop this one out. Don't forget to put your moulds back in the right way. Right, let's have a look at these. Oh, that's pretty. That's a lovely one too. I like the design on the sides. It's got a lovely pattern there, but you're not going to see most of that. Right, let's pop this one out now. See how this has turned out. Oh, I like that. That's pretty. Right, so that will sit on there like that. That looks nice. So let's just see where the candles are going to sit, and then we can place our stickers on there. So I think I want my candles to sit there, there, and there. Make sure they're all inside that ring there. And then my peacock's going to sit there. Right, so the peacock needs to be as far down as possible. So about there. So let's just peel off that back in and then place that down. Let's get that there. Just going to use a squeegee to rub that down. And then peel off that top layer. And because this is a UvDtf, it's not going to need a top coat. That's just a matter of preference if you want to add one or not. So that's the peacock. And then I thought I've got some other little peacock feathers that came with this set. So I'm going to add some to these candles because they're just battery operated candles. I can't tip it upside down because all my bits will fall out. So I'm going to put a couple of these feathers on the front there. So they were set on there like that. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to take that top coat off. Is that going to stick to the candle? Let's just give it a good squish down. See if that layer will come off. Oh, it does. That's good. I wasn't sure if it would or not because this has got quite a a waxy texture to it. But I think if I give it a good squidge, it will be okay. Yes, lovely. Right, so same again with the other two. Let's leave that one and use these two. Similar sizes. So I'm going to put this one on that one. Oh, let's just make sure that's the back there. Put that one down on there like that. And same again, just going to squishy that down. And then take that top section off. So that's that one. So I'll do the same with this one and then I'll be back in a minute. So that's the 3 candles all done. So they're nice and matching now. So next I need to attach that onto there and that onto there. So that would go like that. So I'm just going to use some super glue. This is the Green Stuff World glue. And I'm going to pop some of that down onto that bit there. And then place that on the top. And then same with this one over here. Some glue on there. And then slide that one over, line that one up. I think that'll be all right there. And just let that set for a minute. So now that's all stuck down. That's how it's looking, like that. So it sits off the floor. So that's looking lovely. But to tie in the silver with the tray, I'm going to use a silver chrome marker pen. I'm going to go round the outside edge of the round bit there with the silver, and then same again on that bottom section, taking that round there, and then I think I'll do the outside edge that bit, and I think I'll do the inside edges as well. So let's just spin that round, make it easier, and then do that bit there as well, and then the same on the other side. Some silver there, and spin that around. And the same on that bit there. So that would tie it all in nicely with my candles. So I'm just going to let that silver dry off for a bit and then we can give it a seal. To seal the top, to protect the silver, I'm going to use the Let's Resin UV Resin. So I'm just going to run a line of UV over the top section there. And then I'm just going to use a dotting tool just to spread that to the edges. And if you give it a little flick, it'll bounce back and then it shouldn't overflow down the sides that way. So I'm going to do this all the way round. So while I'm doing this, I'll just mention that today's video is part of the Friendship Express train that's organised by myself and Susie from Serendipity Resin Creations, Tina from Pour Resin with Love, and Amy from Resonating Art by Amy M. and there is a playlist in my description box, so you can check out all the other makes in the train. Right, I think I'll just add a little bit more of the UV resin now, just over the top there, and then that will level itself out and it should give a nice dome on there. I'm just going to use my long neck lighter, pop any bubbles, and then I'm going to cure that under the UV lamp. That's that side done, so that's looking lovely, and we've got a nice dome going on the top there. So I'm just going to do the same to the other side, and you don't need to see me doing that a second time. And then after that, we're going to give the sides a seal with some sealing wax. This is my homemade sealing wax. So I'll just do this one, and then I'll be back for the next bit. That's both sides done now. So that's nice and protected on the top. So now I'm going to use my sealing wax. This is made from natural coconut oil and soya wax. I'm just going to put some on a microfiber cloth, and then I'm going to use this to seal these sides. So I'm just going to wipe some on, leave it for about 10 minutes, and then buff it off. So some on that side, and then same again on the other side, and you can see that really brings out those colours as well. So we're just going to let that soak in for 10 minutes, and you can always give it a couple of coats, and then I'll be back to put some little feet on the bottom. That's all sealed and buffed in now, and you've got a nice shine on there. So finally I'm just going to use these little cork pieces and take off those backing bits, and then I'm just going to place some of these on the bottom, and then that'll just give the surface a protection, whatever it's going to go down onto. So I'll just do this. So that's those all stuck on, and then finally I just need to put my candles on the top. So that one there, one there, and one there, and that's my little candle tray all finished. So thank you ever so much for watching my video today, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end to see it all lit up. Bye for now.